what's better, the MacBook Neo or the M1 Pro MacBook Pro? Now, I've had my M1 Pro MacBook Pro from 2021 for about 5 years. And one of the big questions I get is not only how does it perform after 5 years, but is it better than the new budget laptop from Apple? So first, let's start off with the build. Now with the MacBook Pro, this is the 14-inch model. It's a little bit thicker and a bit more of a pain to carry around day to day. Whereas the Neo is 12 inches, super lightweight and portable. In terms of the weight itself, this is 2.7 pounds, whereas this is 3.5 pounds. I'm not gonna sit here and be like the MacBook Pro is heavy or a pain to carry around or anything like that, but at the same time, it does have that type of weight that has a noticeable heft. Like, you can't easily hold it from the corner with one hand like this. Versus the Neo just feels so light. Honestly, it's very comparable to what you would expect with the MacBook Air, and super portable if we're talking about what's better for on the go. Now, in terms of colors, as you can see, I have indigo here and space gray here for the Pro. Now, when the Pro released, you got space gray and silver, and that was basically it. Whereas the Neo, apart from indigo, you also get blush, silver, citrus, and indigo, obviously. Now for me, honestly, color selection is not that big of a deal, but obviously for some of you, that might be something that's important. And when it comes to Pro laptops and anything Apple Pro related, it is always just typically more boring standard colors that you'd expect. Versus with the Neo, they obviously gave a lot of options, and that's honestly sort of a clear indicator of the exact target market that they're going after. Those people who are students, people who care about fun colors and things like that, as opposed to like power performance, things like that. And in terms of feel, this is where both laptops are honestly very strong. They're both from solid aluminum that feels premium and not cheap. Now that's what you would expect on the Pro, obviously, but the surprising thing is that even with the MacBook Neo, you're also getting that same level of quality. Now Apple did have to cheap out on some places, which we'll obviously get to, but even simple things like the keyboard or trackpad, like you just don't get that sense of cheapness with it. Speaking of the keyboard and trackpad, let's now talk about the bodies of each of these computers. Now for the keyboards, both of these have the Magic Keyboard, which feels great. I personally have literally tried mechanical keyboards, I've tried super thin ones, I've tried external keyboards, and I always find myself coming back to the Magic Keyboard. Even when I have displays and monitors and things like that, I literally keep my laptop open just for the sake of how much I love the Magic Keyboard. But obviously that's where there's a bit of a difference, where on the Pro laptops, it's obviously coming backlit. Now people really complain that on the Neo, the keyboard isn't backlit, but for some reason, that's never been something that I personally understand. Like for all the things that the Neo has going for it, having lights that show up on the back of your keyboard, which honestly you don't even see during the day, it's really something that you only notice at night, honestly isn't a big deal. What is a big deal is having Touch ID, which honestly coming from a MacBook Pro is just so convenient, makes life so much easier on this computer. Versus on the Neo, you obviously have to type in your password over and over and over again, which just gets annoying. Now you can pay to upgrade it on the Neo, but honestly, in my opinion, that's just not worth it. Now in terms of the trackpad, both are really solid. On the MacBook Pro, you get Force Touch. Now all that basically means is on the MacBook Pro, you get some nice added benefits like gestures, pressure sensing, and force click. Whereas on the Neo, it's more of just like your standard typical trackpad that you would expect. All it does is click and basically that's it. But again, when you think about the price of this computer, the way how this trackpad feels is honestly really impressive. Specifically the fact that it obviously has a nice click, but also that you can click around anywhere like what you'd expect on an Apple computer. It's not one of those cheap ones where you have to click and press the corner or anything like that. Now, as for the camera, both of these computers, it's mid, it's like what you'd expect, nothing revolutionary there. I think the only pro that the MacBook Pro has going for it is obviously the extra microphone, which does make the sound quality much better. So if we're talking what's gonna be better on video calls, obviously it's gonna be this computer, but like genuinely, whether it's 2 microphones on the Neo or 3 on a MacBook Pro, I haven't even noticed the difference myself. Where you will notice the difference is the speakers. The Pro not only has 6 speakers, but the speaker grills actually face up towards you, the user. Versus the Neo has 2, and the speaker grills are actually on the side, so it's not even like it's facing you. If you're somebody like me who's always playing videos out loud, who's always playing music, things like that, I mean, the MacBook Pro is just a clean sweep, it's not even close. And another area where this computer does well is obviously the port selection. On the Pro, you're getting 3 Thunderbolt 4 USB-C ports, an HDMI port, and an SD card slot. And as somebody who does professional work, there have literally been times where I'm using every single port on this computer. HDMI to go into my external monitor, an SD card when I'm working on video files, and all of the USB-C ports on top of the fact that this computer has MagSafe. Whereas on the MacBook Neo, you only have 2 USB-C ports. Now, in all honesty, when you think about the market target demographic for this computer versus this one, that wasn't really the deal breaker for me. Of course, this one's gonna have more ports, duh. But for me, it wasn't about that. The deal breaker with the MacBook Neo is that both ports are on one side. It would have been so much better if there was one USB-C port on one side and one on the other side, because that just gives you so much more flexibility and options when it comes to which ports you're using. But nope, they put it both on the same side, which is a bit annoying. Now this is where the computers really start to differ, and that's the displays. See, on the MacBook Pro, you're getting a 14-inch Liquid Retina XDR display that goes up to 1000 nits of brightness, and even 1600 if you're viewing something that's HDR. Whereas on the MacBook Neo, it's a 13-inch display that only goes up to 500 nits of brightness. And I'll be honest, even putting aside my bias of coming from a MacBook Pro, 500 nits of brightness is pretty dark. You'll be fine using it indoors, but I'd really be skeptical about this when working outside or anything like that. But on top of that, this computer also has ProMotion, which basically just means a 120 Hz refresh rate. Whereas the MacBook Neo only has 60 Hz, which is pretty crazy on one hand, but at the same time, for the type of stuff that you're doing on this type of computer, honestly, you wouldn't even notice it. Sure, you're not gonna get that buttery smoothness that you would expect, switching between applications or anything like that, but honestly, the speed of the CPU, which we'll get to, definitely makes up for it. So even me, as somebody who loves ProMotion and 120 Hz refresh rate, all that type of stuff, I could say that the 60 Hz on the Neo doesn't actually bother me that much. But it doesn't just stop there. The MacBook Pro has True Tone, better colors, and thinner bezels that actually make the computer look modern. Versus the Neo is obviously not as sharp, and this is one of those aspects where you can definitely tell this is where Apple had to cut some corners in order to keep the cost down. Now, the good thing is that honestly, you get used to the bezel really, really quickly, but I will say it's one of those things that definitely stands out to me as something that does feel on the cheaper side. By the way, if you like this video, hit that subscribe button. It's free and you can always change your mind. Next is the battery life, and this part is where it's actually a bit crazy. Now, I've had this MacBook Pro for 5 years, and obviously there have been some battery degradation, but honestly, it hasn't even been that bad. But the crazy part is that this MacBook Pro has a battery size that is double what is inside the MacBook Neo. Yet the battery life from Apple on both these computers and what I've tested in my real day-to-day life, the battery life is the exact same. And the reason that this happens is because the MacBook Neo is smaller, it uses less power thanks to the chip, has a smaller screen, all that sort of stuff that basically means that it's only sipping on power. It's not actually just guzzling that stuff down, sucking away your battery life. Pause. Whereas the Pro is obviously bigger, it's much more powerful, and because of that, all the power that's necessary to run this machine operated day-to-day basically balances out the bigger battery size. Now, from a real-life day-to-day standpoint, both battery lives on these computers are perfectly fine. The only thing is that when you start pushing these computers to these limits, the Pro is obviously meant to handle that, right? It has that stronger battery. It's basically built to handle those Pro activities, whereas the Neo, I mean, in previous videos, we've pushed it to that limit. Like, look, I'm moving the mouse, and it's like nothing is. And that's where it just really starts to fall apart. Now, the good thing is that with the chip performance, like, you can definitely push it pretty far, and we'll definitely get to that, but that's one of the hindrances with a computer that is like this. Speaking of chip performance, obviously the big headlining thing with this computer is that it has the A18 Pro chip, which is an iPhone chip compared to something that was actually designed for the Mac. So how does the two of them compare? Well, first let's talk RAM. The MacBook Pro starts off with a base of 16 gigabytes of RAM, which you can then upgrade. Versus the Neo only has 8 gigabytes of RAM, which you also can't even upgrade. Now, RAM is one of those interesting things because obviously 8 gigabytes is super, super small, but macOS is also optimized to be super efficient and basically make that 8 gigabytes of RAM feel pretty usable. And honestly, with RAM prices nowadays, it's a miracle the price of this computer. As for the storage, this one starts out at 512 gigabytes and you can upgrade it up to 8 terabytes of storage. I don't know who's doing that or needs 8 terabytes of storage, but this computer that I have that is comparable in terms of price is 512 gigabytes. Versus the Neo base is only 256 gigabytes and you can upgrade it then to 512 gigabytes of storage. Now, I'm gonna get technical for a second, so stay with me, but the Pro has an 8-core CPU and a 14-core GPU, whereas the Neo has a 6-core CPU and a 5-core GPU. And that right there is a clear indicator as to why you'll see benchmarks that say that the Neo is literally beating the M3 chip on single-core performance. Like, even though it's come from an iPhone, it is not a bad chip at all, and I would argue super powerful. And if we're talking real world usage for these computers, day to day, both are gonna be quick, no delays or lag on both of them. But it's really when you start to go outside of those day-to-day operations, right? Day-to-day meaning documents, emails, web browsing, video watching, like sort of just simple stuff. When you start to now go outside of that, or you're starting to stack on top multiple Chrome tabs, anything like that, that's where you really start to see it. The Pro can obviously handle more powerful activities like video editing or 3D rendering, which you definitely expected. And that's where the Neo starts to fall behind, but here's the crazy part. Compared to what my initial thoughts were, the Neo can actually handle a lot of that stuff pretty well. We just shot a video testing out video editing on the MacBook Neo, and surprisingly, it handled 4K anamorphic S-Log footage in Premiere pretty easily. Again, I'm not gonna sit here and be like it was perfect, and as soon as we started doing other stuff and it started stacking up, the computer basically died, but honestly, it gave a pretty good fight. And similarly, it's really the GPU performance is where you'll start to see this computer be squeezed, and that performance just kind of kind of fall off a cliff. So finally is the price, and which one would I recommend for you? Now, the cool thing is that both these computers go for about $600 US. And that's because with the MacBook Neo, they obviously did all these amazing things, plus all of the efficiency that they have from using an old chip, a very, very reusable body, things like that, all these different compound things to basically get that price down. And then when it comes to the MacBook Pro, let's just say it how it is, the resale value on these is pretty good. All you gotta do is just make sure that the quality is good, make sure you're not obviously getting scammed, but like, honestly, that part is pretty easy. And definitely worth the money that you're saving. Like, I have some people in my comments that are like, oh, I would never buy used or anything like that. But dude, in this economy, just like put in the extra effort and you'll get literally hundreds of dollars off compared to the new MacBook Pro. But anyways, if you care about portability and having something that's reliable, the Neo is super, super strong. Honestly, every day I'm surprised by how much stuff this computer can handle, because despite the fact that it has an iPhone chip, despite all the limitations and corners that had to be cut in order to keep that price down, which by the way, isn't even a bad thing, despite all those different things, this computer can actually be pushed way harder than you'd probably expect. But if you're somebody like me who wants a Pro without obviously the Pro price tag, this is where a used M1 Pro MacBook Pro from 2021 is a really, really good deal. You're getting all the quality of life upgrades, whether it's the ports, whether it's the display, whether it's more storage, all that type of stuff, and you're not really paying more than what you'd get on a brand new MacBook Neo. And for anybody that comments about the fact that the M1 Pro is going to be losing support or anything like that, guys, I'm gonna have a stroke. Like, I don't think you guys understand. Just because, you know, in a couple years, this might lose macOS support, doesn't automatically mean that it's a bad purchase. It's still gonna be super strong, it's still gonna be super fast, and you're still gonna be able to get real work done on this powerhouse. Not to mention the fact that M1 Pro is gonna have a lot more longevity than something like the M1 chip. That's a chip where I would say, yeah, if you're getting that, you're kind of cooked. But if you want to see what a Windows user looks like using the MacBook Neo, just click this video here.